Alright, this will seem a little off, but it'll come back to my point, which is that we inherit social perception biases from the biosphere. And it's interesting, human agency, and I would think any sapient agency across the cosmos, starts off with certain social perceptions. And this alpha predator male agency and beta prey female agency, and what I won't get into, but this kind of beta male agency uh, underneath the alpha male. But it in itself is alpha too, because it often forms micro patriarchies where the family is so a enslaved man that's in a beta in a dominance hierarchy like the ancient Egypt, for example, uh, would still be a kind of alpha in his household. He'd have his own kind of mini dominance hierarchy, his micro dominance hierarchy. So so it's not completely baited. I won't get into that agency, but most of the alpha predator male, because that alpha predator male agency is still in this kind of baited male, uh, but that is being in disadvantaged resource positions or dominance hierarchy. The pharaoh, and then you have betas males underneath him, an alpha male, and this, the macro really alpha male, but large scale meaning. So we'll be inquiring into alpha predator male and beta prey female agency, since alpha predator male describes also the beta underneath the pharaohs, not just the pharaohs. What's happening within their own micro cosm, at their own kind of micro family. So it's kind of like their own pharaoh. They're like this pharaoh, and then you have these like mini pharaohs that kind of control the women and children in abusive ways, like the pharaoh controls them. And we love the pharaoh. We love them all. But it does just say the macro alpha male, subjugating alpha males, which subjugate beta prey females. If you ask about other fields, for example, what's the atomic weight of plutonium? Well, it's like, I should say that better. It's when you get a macro alpha predator male society, and they kind of subjugate these kind of macro beta alpha males that then subjugate, these beta prey females. Uh, in this macro state, existing in this macro society. I'm confused on the terminology there. That macro alpha predator males denoting this macro context. When I say alpha predator male, I'm mainly referring to the animals, the biosphere. So if you ask about other fields, for example, what's the atomic weight of plutonium, you'll usually receive the answer, I don't know. Haven't studied that. What are you talking about? What's that? And something similar. But if asked, if people, do people make choices? Do people have personal choices? Are they like the ones responsible for their actions? Or should people be, imprisoned and tortured? Or if, women aren't as good drivers? And if making lots of money is considered what is that really successful? Is that what is success? Even things like, taller women, they're not attractive. Even on the other side, shorter men are less attractive. Or if we should hit children to discipline them, or if there's a pay gap. See, these kind of social perceptions, of kind of emotional perceptions of even like arousal systems, also social meaning of other people. These perceptions of other people pertaining to our arousal, pertaining to our perception of what is successful and what is right and how to interact with them and treat them. Um, there's you know, there's a bias. There's a kind of an emotional bias, this inherited social perception, and it's not just inherited; it's also propaganda. But I'll get into that in a moment. Sometimes it's not just this kind of evolutionary psychology as to why men find really tall women unattractive. It's, I would say, get into that too. In beta prey female agency, it's like a resource thing with the ancestral group functions. But so, you know, we have these kind of evolutionary psychology biases, social biases, and like men are better and they're make all the history rather than like this is really kind of what I'm getting into, which they're poor sick guys that kind of hold civilization from developing, hold it back for thousands of years and continue to do so to this day and are on the verge of extinction. But in this delusion where they're like these successful heroes, I guess, but not really heroes, but like successful. They're in a delusion of success, this kind of alpha predator patriarchal perception of success. But in reality of the situation, they're destroying everything. But in this kind of state of nature world, the kind of how animal brains work, and you have to understand how animal minds work, they have these kind of sets of instincts that guide them to do stuff to spread their genes and replicate. And these men that are from like these animals, and that's what they're doing. They're doing this stuff to maximally spread their genes. I'm gonna get into that, of course, here, and it's there. We have these kind of social biases, though, these kind of social instincts that make us do this stuff. And when I say this social bias that I'm seeing whenever I ask someone, about these social questions, questions to psychology, and sociology, people just answer immediately without question. It's not like I don't know. I'm not a social scientist. It's like no, I know. And I was like, whoa, why are you sure you know? Why'd you say that so quick? Well, it's a mixture of this kind of emotional bias they've inherited from the biosphere, like animals. I'm not saying they're animals, but they're like the I'm not degrading them or anything, but like the animals that we've evolved from. We have these instincts that it's just instinctual. We just give an answer, and we also have this kind of propaganda that you could think of like climate change denial, or and we love all the people that are in that. They don't know, and people just spinning it, and people's jobs are on the line. I've seen, and what's funny is they've actually developed something that, and I'm not. That turns the exhaust of vehicles into ink. I believe it's ink. Yes. But anyway, and they just got to scale it up. But the production of it, from what I remember of what they're doing with it. But when we understand that there's climate change, and but the other propaganda beliefs include thinking that healthcare shouldn't be a right. It's something that we should all continue to pay for, and it's with as said by the health insurance companies that want us to keep buying it. Really, that's what it is. It's these kind of health insurance companies want us to continue buying their insurance and not letting and also making the prices of all the medical stuff also super high too. It's just the American medical system is this kind of, it's almost like, it's kind of a criminal organization in a way. But that's how it always is. Patriarchy is, we start off as a kind of a criminal organization. It's in this criminal state of society when no one's recognizing that society itself is in a state of criminal nature, and it's manifesting criminal behavior. It is criminal creation that is manifesting criminal behavior through structural violence. But it's a patriarchy machine that's distributing resources unevenly to help maximally spread the genes of men in alpha state and diminish the spread of their competitors. But we'll get into that in a moment. So, do you have all these social perceptions that that are biased, and that's the big thing with that alpha predator male agency is about, and beta prey female agencies, is that we start off with these biases that have been kind of inherited from the state of nature to spread the genes of men in alpha state better. Even this kind of propaganda that they spread can be considered kind of an information that this meme they've developed to help their genes spread more optimally than their competitors, by getting the money and all the rest and consolidating it. And they can't help that.